You're listening to the Deep River Dive, where we strive to arrive at the truth. Today is November the 1st, 2018. We have our first episode, is our interview with our principal, Mr. R. Let's dive right into questions.
Mr. R,
Sir.
can you please tell us about yourself?
All right. My name is Asael Rubalcaba, and I'll just share this quickly with you. My first name is Hebrew, and my last name is Arabic. And very, very proud to be here at Rio Hondo High School as the principal. Originally, I'm from Brownsville, but I enjoy working here. I drive every single day, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy the small town, the community that Rio Hondo offers here. Growing up in Brownsville, it was tough, but I was able to, persevere and make it through college. Coming out of college, I did attend UTB here in Brownsville, and I graduated with a history degree. So my first 11 years in education were teaching with Brownsville ISD. I taught history, and I also coached. I was a coach for football, for basketball, for baseball, and even golf. I really enjoyed my time in the classroom as a teacher, and also, being a coach. I really enjoyed those days. Eventually, I went into administration, and I was in Los Fresnos for 10 years. And in Los Fresnos, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about everything that entails to become a good leader. And then I went briefly to Brownsville, and then I came over here to Rio Hondo. Originally, I was hired at the junior high here in Rio Hondo, and so it was an exciting thing to be a part of. But then the opportunity came up for me to be moved, or for me to take this position to here at the high school, and I'm here, and I'm very proud to be here, guys.
Mr. R, we also heard that you attended a conference in New Jersey. What was that about?
That conference was a great opportunity for me. When I got a phone call, or actually it was via Twitter, that Bluebird. I've met some great people through Twitter, and one of them is a superintendent in New Jersey. And he contacted me, and through Twitter he saw everything that we're trying to accomplish at the junior high, and he reached out to me, and then he said, "Hey, you guys are doing great things in Rio Hondo. Why don't you come and speak over here at a conference that we're gonna have?" And he asked me, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Hey, let's do it. Let's run with it." So that conference was for educators. There was about 800 people that registered for that conference, and this was the very first time that I've spoken, or that I've been able to get that opportunity to speak in front of people in that capacity. I've always spoken in front of kids, like here at the school, spoken in front of, say, our teachers at the campus level, at the district level, but never at that kind of level. So it was neat, great experience, and to my surprise, and just because I'm humble and grateful that I was given that opportunity, but to my surprise, people really enjoyed the message that I had to, that I was able to give, and that message was basically about my passion, or my passions. And the title of I don't know if you've heard, but the title was "Come On, Man." Okay, and that I'm a big sports guy, as you can see here in my office. But if you're familiar with "Come On, Man," it's from the NFL, and basically they review plays that, like, come on, man, like, what were you all thinking of? And I'll share this with you guys. A year ago, my son, I have a son that's in 6th grade right now. but he was in 5th grade last year. And he took a math benchmark. And I asked him, hey, son, how did it go? And he does this kind of like, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What happened? He's like, Dad, I got a perfect score on the math benchmark. I'm like, so why are you upset, man? Like, what's the deal? He's like, Dad, they took off points. And I'm like, they took off points? I'm like, all right, but let me hear this. He's like, Dad, they took off points because I didn't show my work. I'm like, all right, so here comes the educator in me. I'm like, all right, hey, Asaya, you know what? In math, it's important that you write down your steps so that if you make a mistake, the teacher can able to pinpoint, look, hey, this is where you messed up. You know, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. They can diagnose the situation there. And he responds, Dad, you're not listening. He's like, I didn't get any wrong. I'm like, well, he's like, Dad, you're an educator. And again, this is a 5th grader. Like, Dad, you're an educator, aren't you? You're a principal of a school. Yeah. Don't you want your kids to think? Don't you all want your kids to do some critical thinking? Yeah. All right, Dad. I was doing mental math. I was thinking on my own. And I get punished for it. How fair is that? Come on, man. Who does that? Why am I being punished for thinking on my own? And he made a lot of sense. So, some of the practices that we do here in education, and it made me think about those practices. Like, is that really in the best interest of kids to show your math work? And I started thinking about it, and it is important. Okay, it is important, especially once you get to your algebras, your geometry, your calculus, and so forth. You have to, if you don't follow the steps, you're going to be lost. That's the way I see it. But it made me think, and I shared this story with teachers, with our staff here. And just for teachers to think about some of the practices that we do. Like, why are we really doing this? Is it for adult convenience? Is it because of, or is it because, say, that's the way you learned it? Or that's the way they taught you? Like, why are we doing this? Or is it really in the best interest of kids? And if it is in the best interest of kids, then hey, continue doing it, or let's do it. And if it's not, let's think of a different way. And that's basically the premise or the message that I wanted to send out. That, you know what, let's rethink our practices. And not because it's easy on me or it's convenient for me or this is the way I learned it, but hey, let's really think about kids. So that was my premise, and that's the reason I went to New Jersey. And one thing that you have to know, or that I will want to share, that at this conference, it was free. It was free for all educators. Anyone that wanted to attend this conference, you could have gone. That was the conference.
Well, we understand that our school grade by the state was a C-, while San Benito's grade was a C+. And we know that they're not exactly known for their educational prowess. So, why do you think that is?
We are looking at some things. Obviously, the C doesn't sit well. We want to be an A district. So we're looking at different things. One thing that we're looking at, and we're looking, unfortunately, the way we're seeing it, it's not really a high school thing. Here in Rio Hondo, I looked at our scores, at our data for the past couple of years, and our scores, as far as the STAR testing and all that, we need to get better at reading. Okay, we have low scores in comparison not only to our region, but to the state And that's where I see that there needs to be an improvement. I think in the areas of social studies, we're pretty much on target. In the area of math, we're pretty much on target as well. And even in science, if you look at the science scores and you compare them, they're fairly very comparable. But as far as in reading, that's where we need to improve. And as a district, we're trying to tackle that from pre-kinder to 12th grade. So the district, we're going to start an initiative to where every student here in the district is going to get a Kindle from K through 8, so that we can improve and facilitate reading for all students. And eventually those Kindles are hopefully going to go up. So when these current 8th graders go to 9th grade, hopefully they'll have the same Kindle. And we just want to improve reading. And with reading, and you all know the test, there's a big part about writing. And reading and writing go hand in hand. We need to become better. If we want to become better readers, we have to be good writers. And vice versa. If we want to be great writers, we have to be good readers. And so reading and writing are the areas that we're going to focus on, not only this year, but in the years to come. So we're trying to plan vertical, which means from kinder to 12. The other thing that we're working on that people might not realize is that our attendance plays a big factor in that scene.
Really?
And every time a kid is absent, it plays into that. So there's a lot of, it's just not one thing. I can't say it's just scores or it's just that. No, it's attendance. And guess what? Participation in, say, the SAT, participation in the ACT. How many students are taking dual enrollment classes? All those play into that letter grade. So there's a lot of things that we got to work on. Even the AP test. We probably took, I don't know how many, every time a kid takes a test and they don't pass the AP test, that hurts us. So there's a lot of factors that play into this, and we're trying to pinpoint where we can make those improvements. Obviously, we want to be an A district, an A campus here at Rio Hondo.
All right. Well,
I hope that answers your.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
All right.
We understand it's more complex than just looking at one or two things. You already touched on this a little bit in your last answer, but what do you think you could do to improve our school in the future? I know you mentioned the Kindles and the stuff like that, but what particularly do you think could help us improve not only our letter grade but in general?
I want to make school exciting. Like, I really want for you guys to be excited about coming and learning. The 21st century that we live in today is it's difficult and very demanding. Long gone are those days where, and this is what I tell teachers. I tell teachers that, you know what, we need to have more collaboration. If students aren't collaborating, I mean, that's how we get better. And even teachers, we need to collaborate. We need to share. I'm like, I know this. It's hard to bring in those lessons every single day because, hey, we gotta do the direct instruction, this, that. I understand that. But imagine if most of our lessons look like that. What is gonna be the end result? And I always try to focus on the learning. And I always tell teachers, because these teachers don't know me, and they ask me, hey, Mr. R, what are you looking for? I'm like, in all honesty, yes, I'm there to see you, but more than anything, I'm looking at the kids. If the kids are engaged, if the kids are on task, if the kids are excited, then I know you're doing a great job. But if I go in and a kid has his head down, is that an exciting lesson? Is there learning? There isn't much learning going on if a kid has his head down. or 2 kids or 3 kids. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking more at the learning and what the kids are doing. And at the end of the day, that's where it's at, in the learning process.
Okay. On the subject of our classes, how do you think our classes are going to help us in our careers or in college?
Again, the main things that I want to focus on, and I want to focus on critical thinking. And this is what these are my messages to teachers. Focus on critical thinking so that kids can think on their own. Okay? And these are the 4 C's, I want for you guys to focus on communication. I want kids to be given that opportunity to present in class. Because guess what? When you go to college, you're going to have to present in class.
Yeah.
You have to. You're going to have to upload a video on Blackboard or Flipgrid or whatever. And that's why I'm going to some classes and I'm recording these guys, and I post them on Twitter because, hey, I want to give kids that opportunity too. So communication, collaboration is another thing. And I talk to teachers and I send back reports to them like, you know what? I visited 11 classrooms today. Guess how many classrooms, were kids collaborating? If I only saw 1 classroom, we're not doing our job. We need to get better at that. If kids are just sitting facing the front, that's not collaboration. And you guys need those communication skills. We need to learn how to work with, even if you're not my friend and even if we don't come from the same background, we got to be able to work together. Because guess what? That's what college is about. And that's what the workforce is about. Here at this campus, the teachers, hey, we all come from different backgrounds. And that's a skill that must be mastered. How to communicate with other people. How to get along with other people. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and the other one, creativity. And this is where I'm telling teachers that, we have to be creative with the lessons. We have to be creative and give you guys those opportunities to be creative. Not just they complete this worksheet. Is that showing creativity? How are you showing me your creativity with a worksheet? For some jobs, all right, you're going to have to fill something out here and there, but for the most part, you're going to have to think on your feet and think quickly. And all right, how are you going to do this? How are you going to get creative and come up with this? This right here, right now, this podcast, this is that opportunity right there. I mean, think of what we're doing right now. We're communicating, we're collaborating. I'm having to think, and you guys had to have, come up with these questions. So you were thinking, and of course, it's something creative. This has never been done here before at Rio Hondo High School. So I'm super excited about this.
Okay, sir. So, students are always complaining about our school food. How do you feel about it?
I think we have great food here. No, and you know what? And I'm gonna touch up on a thing here that Rio Hondo is one of those school districts that were poor, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're a poor school district. So say, for example, I'm just gonna give you this. Say, I wish I had say this is $100 bill. I don't have $100 bill, but say this is $100 bill. And as far as here in Rio Hondo, it takes, say for example, on a scale, that it takes $100 to run the entire district. Okay. With $100, I'm going to be able to pay all the salaries, the electricity, this and that. So we need $100. Can Rio Hondo afford to pay everything on their own? The answer is no. Okay, so Rio Hondo is very dependent on state funds. Okay, very dependent on state funds and federal funds. Okay, if we wouldn't have those state funds or those federal funds, we wouldn't be able to give you guys. We wouldn't have this program of free food for you guys. Other school districts, they're rich, they have a lot of money, and those school districts, kids have to pay for their breakfast, they have to pay for their lunch, they have to pay for their ACT, SAT, their TSI, and other programs that here we don't charge you for.
So you think if the food costs money, it might improve? Is that what you're saying? It's the free. The fact that it's free is creating a budget gap.
And it's not about the budget. The problem is that the federal government gives us this money, okay? But if we're gonna be using that money and we need it, they give us guidelines. Like, all right, you can't have, regular white bread. It has to be wheat bread.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
the worst.
So if we don't follow those guidelines, what do you think happens?
We get the funds.
Now, do we have money to buy regular white bread with these funds?
Sure.
Yes, we do. Can we buy regular milk? Yes. Can we buy regular white bread for the cheeseburger? Yes. But if we want to continue getting those funds from the federal government, we have to comply with their guidelines. And if we don't comply with those guidelines, like we can't even add salt. Salt is not expensive. We have the money. We could buy some salt, but the federal government does not allow us. So whatever, and that's why we have we contracted a food service. They have their own chef, and the chef, they all the ingredients have to comply with those guidelines. So it has nothing to do with we cannot afford it with that money, but we have to follow those guidelines. And if they do an audit, we get in trouble. And then they take away that money, and then, maybe you can afford to pay for your breakfast and lunch every single day, but 90% of our students cannot.
You know what they say, you get what you pay for. So that's the issue. But hey, I eat that cheeseburger. I like that cheeseburger. I like the fries.
The fries are good.
I'll eat the nachos. I've had the nachos.
The only thing I hate about this lunch is that they serve the same things every day.
I mean, you don't. It's not really a lot of variety.
And just
So
every day.
maybe
We don't
more
have
of
salt.
a
How many
variety.
things can you make?
I've had the spicy chicken. I'll eat it again, and I've had it. It's not like but most of the days I do eat here. Okay, it's very rare that I do eat out. So I'm with you on the food. Hey, I eat the same food you guys do, so I don't mind it.
All right. So, I guess to get more in terms of our group in general, what do you think about the new digital media program, which is the Bobcat Media that we're a part of?
Again, I'm excited about it. I think this is a great thing that you guys are doing, or that we're trying to accomplish here at the high school. And I'm looking forward to learning about other people when you guys continue with your segments here.
So I think we should close off with what everyone knows Mr. R by, and that's from his bullhorn. You hear it down the halls all the time. And so we just want to ask you we've just never seen that before. So we just want to ask you where that came from, why. We just wanted to know a little bit about that.
About the bullhorn, obviously the bullhorn started this year. I've never used a bullhorn in my life. I've been in administration for 10 plus years, and I've always had a loud voice. But I guess lately, I don't know, you can hear my voice. I can't, and I don't want to come across as yelling all the time, and I want to be able to conserve my voice. So the bullhorn is able to amplify my voice.
Yes, it is.
And and think about this, and when someone yells or screams, they make that face to where you're upset. I don't want to come across as I'm upset. So I still have hopefully my chill, cool face when I'm on the bullhorn, and I just want to make sure that people down the hall can hear me. And if people down the hall can hear me, they know that Mr. R's here, and hopefully it'll deter any unwanted, inappropriate behavior. If someone can hear me, if they're about to throw, say, an airplane or whatnot, that they can hear me. Oh, Mr. R's here, and they'll think twice, hopefully, about throwing something or doing something that they shouldn't be doing. It also gives me the opportunity, like say for example, I don't have to go into, say if I want to go into the boys' restroom, I'll just stand by the door. Guys, hurry up. And that's it. I don't have to walk inside. So it's very convenient, and I guess the bullhorn is now a part of me, and I'm a part of it. So that's the bullhorn right there.
All right. Well, thank you for answering our questions today, sir. We enjoyed it, and I hope our listeners will enjoy it too.
Thank you. My pleasure.